our partners have been doing just an exceptional job. We do have some partners that are still ongoing in their work, although technically this is year 2 of the initiative. We are still working some with year 1 initiatives. Like I said, this project is a little different than, say, our HIV, our patient care programs, our prevention programs. And so we want it to be different in this process and a little more engaging and provide a little more flexibility, especially for our small community-based organizations that have a desire to do this work. One of the very first promises that was asked in our very first EHE meeting, I think back in 2019, was the creation of a community-based website that that was available to the community, a little less cumbersome than some of our websites, and just more availability. And I'm happy to say that today that we are delivering on that promise. So I just have to congratulate my EHE team members. It looks like I think sometimes I go to bed thinking about EHE and I wake up thinking about EHE, and I'm sure some of them can probably share my sentiment. This project has been a great undertaking. I'm so thankful for the support that we have had in leadership. Our disease control director, Ms. Charlene Edwards, our assistant County Health Department Director, Ms. Gail Guidish, and our director, Dr. Cho, who have all just been so supportive of our efforts and what we have tried to do here. And so, unless there are any questions for me, I will turn it back over to Nicole. Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lightsey. Did we have any questions? I'm not seeing any pop up in the chat for Mr. Lightsey. Again, just a reminder, if you did have any questions, please provide them in the chat. Also, if you have additional comments for the EHE team, please send it to our email, which is Pinellas EHE@flhealth.gov, and you can reach us there, the entire team, at any time. So if you do have additional feedback, please make sure that you contact us. As Ms. Gail Guidish said, we are definitely open to assisting the community, because this is where EHE actually lives and breathes. It's a community initiative, so please feel free to reach out to us at any time. With that being said, we'd also like to acknowledge the people who might be not part of the Zoom, but part of our Facebook viewing community. We would like to thank you for attending and watching wherever you may be. So thank you for taking the time to attend the meeting, however you may be attending it. Moving on, past our program updates, we now have
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes. Oops, sorry.
Great.
We now have we now have our Ryan White Part A update presented by Mr. Aubrey Arnold.
Thank you, Nicole. Good morning, everyone. I just also want to acknowledge it's a great opportunity to be with you all again. I think that the group within the Pinellas County Health Department is doing tremendous work to coordinate your EHE efforts, your ending the HIV epidemic efforts. And I'm really looking forward to year 2 of this project working together in our community to end the HIV epidemic in our area. I have several announcements that I wanted to update you all on, and they're kind of integrated with both the Ryan White Part A program as well as our EHE funding. So I'll try to put it all together coherently. And if you all have any questions for me, of course, at the end, just please put it in the chat or let me know, and I'll be happy to give you clarification. So we are in year 2 of our Ryan White EHE project, which covers both Hillsborough and Pinellas County. And I'm very happy to report that over the last 2 months with our procurement process, we did receive an increase in our budget this year for EHE. We have a total budget that we're working with this year of $1.6 million approximately. So that additional $600,000 that we got this year, we procured through our RFA process a couple of months ago after we got our award. And I'm very happy to report that Pinellas County is receiving about $200,000 very shortly in some supportive housing dollars. And that funding is going to be split between two of our community partners, two of our longtime community partners, both with Metro Inclusive Health and also with Epic Empath. They will both be receiving contracts with this funding, and they will both be open for business, so to speak. I'm hoping actually by the end of August. We're looking at getting those contracts to our Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners during the August 18th board meeting, and they should be cemented at that point. But definitely by September, those funds will be in place. I'm also happy to report that the team looked at other needs in the community for Pinellas County, and we are also funding some additional mental health dollars through the Ending the Epidemic project, which will be funded through Metro Inclusive Health. And that's about $50,000 in additional mental health dollars that they will have for the Pinellas community. Again, starting in August, we hope, or certainly no later than early September. So those funds will also be in place. These funds are going to complement what we're already doing with our Ryan White Part A grant. And one of the things that I talked about yesterday with our planning council, which by the way met yesterday, we had a very good Ryan White Part A, Part B planning council meeting. And I know our chair, Nolan Finn, is participating, as well as J. Carl Devine, who's been a longstanding member of that planning council. Just to put a plug in for the planning council membership, we are looking for additional members. And if anyone listening today or participating today has any interest in the Ryan White planning, which definitely corresponds and integrates with the EHE work that we're doing in our community, please contact me or Naomi, who is also on the call today, or J. Carl Devine or Nolan Finn. We'd love to hear from you if you are interested in the work of the Ryan White, the West Central Florida Ryan White Planning Council. So what I wanted to mention there is the work goes on. Our budget this year with the Ryan White Part A is about $10.8 million, or I'm sorry, $10.3 million in total. And some of the things that we're seeing this year in terms of funding, because of the really robust work that the AIDS Drug Assistance Program is doing throughout the state of Florida, we're seeing underutilization of our local pharmacy program. And what I would like to do, and something that I'm going to present to the Planning Council over the next couple of months in terms of services that we can look at expanding next year, is some additional housing services with our Ryan White Part A, as well as perhaps food or other services that we haven't been able to fund in the last 10 years or so because of having to focus on the core services such as primary care and medications, medical case management, and oral health. So we'd love to expand more into those social determinants of health for the Ryan White Part A, and more to come on that at our next meeting, but that's something that I'm very excited about. I wanted to also share with you just a couple of success stories with our early intervention services that we're seeing in Pinellas. From some of the reporting that we're doing, remember that we're also funding through Metro Inclusive Health, which was our year one project with the Ending the HIV Epidemic funds that we received in year one. We were funding early intervention services in both Hillsborough and Pinellas. And just to recap on some of the good statistics that we're seeing there, in Pinellas County, for example, right now in our early intervention services project, we have 45 clients. This is for the first quarter of this year. We have 45 new clients that we've reached. Linked to care, we have a 93 percentile that have been linked to care. Retained in care, out of 25 eligible clients, we've retained 18 of those. So that's like a 72% retention rate. And out of those on antiretroviral therapy, which increases your viral suppression loads, of course, we've got 77% there. And one of the success stories that I wanted to share with you is that in July, just last month, the Pinellas Early Intervention Services assisted a client with resources that empowered her to leave a domestic violence situation. This client came into the program pregnant and newly diagnosed. Although premature, her babies continue to be healthy and HIV negative, and now have a safe and stable environment to come home to when they are released from the NICU unit. So again, a success story right there that I wanted to share with you all. I think it's important that we demonstrate the work of these programs rather than just talking about the dollars that we're investing. We are seeing some really good outcomes, and I'm very thankful to be a part of this. I want to again salute the team with the Pinellas EHE and the health department and the great work that you're doing. We are going to continue to work together with you all to bring an end to this epidemic. Thank you for letting me share today.
Thank you so much for the updates, Mr. Arnold. Also, if you could please provide your contact information in the chat, we would love to get anyone who would like to be in touch with you, the proper information and the way to contact you.
I will do so, Nicole. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And I love to hear the success stories. That's amazing. It reaches home and helps us to understand how we're really impacting people's lives. So thank you so much for sharing that. Next up, we have our PrEP Navigator report, and this will be provided to us by our resident PrEP Navigator, Ms. Damaris Felix.
Good morning, everyone. So PrEP is growing in Pinellas County's health department. I've been here a year. From August, we've seen, do you guys have the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay. So
one second, I'm sorry, there's a delay when I'm clicking it. So 1 second, apologies.
Okay, so PrEP has been growing in the Pinellas County Health Department. In August, when I started keeping track of the numbers, we were at 40. As of June 2021, we're at 105. As of today, we're at 113. They're going up slowly but surely. Next slide, I'm sorry, I haven't done this in a long time, so. Next slide, please. So some of our successes that I believe that I've seen with PrEP and with our department, our patients have been being referred by our providers. Sometimes our staff doesn't have time when they're seeing the patient to talk about PrEP. So they have been referring them to the PrEP. I call them, we discuss PrEP, and it's been working out that way where they are interested, they are making their appointments, and they are coming in. Also, advertising PrEP through all our clinics. I've made sure we put posters in all our clinics, materials, PrEP materials, going out into the community, leaving my business cards, brochures, posters on PrEP, talking about PrEP. I also see that a lot of my Spanish speaking patients have expressed that they're comfortable coming in and being able to speak, you know, the language, and they feel that it's understanding and it's welcoming to them. Also connecting with the rehab centers through the community, for example, PAR, Turning Point, calling them up at least every few months, making sure they have materials ongoing. Also, the resources. When I go out to the libraries and leave information, I also collect information to be able to help my patients, you know, with Spanish classes, shelters, food pantries, applying for work, continuing school. So when they're sitting here and they're talking to me, I try to help them above prep, because they also have other issues, you know, shelters, rehab centers. So it goes both ways. And being able to schedule them 3 months in advance for my people who are working, who are in school, making sure that their appointments are ahead of time so that they can come in to their appointments. I call them a day before. That's very important to them, to making sure that they're here for their appointments. And that there's no delay in services with Gilead and Quran, making sure that the prescriptions, medications, all forms are completed in a timely manner. Now, some of my challenges is getting providers on board with preventive measures. Not all providers are doing PrEP. That's one of my challenges here. When there's no provider, I'm scheduling patients from location to location, moving them around a lot. I think that's one of my other challenges. Trying to keep up. I like to see that initial visit. I like to have that contact with the patient. I go to whatever site they're in. I make sure that we have that contact face to face. Some of them feel that there's a stigma. They feel that uncomfortable sometimes. And educating our patients, because a lot of them, when I call them, they think that it's only for gay or lesbian. They don't think it's for everyone. Also, one of my challenges is I have a lot of minors, 15 through 17, and I think it's a state thing where we can't provide services unless parent consent. A lot of these high risk young patients, they don't have connection with their parents, but I can't serve them because they need a parent consent. So that's one of my other issues that I've ran into. Trying to engage the high-risk patients who are constantly coming into the clinic with positive STDs, but refuse to have any other kind of services. I do have patients that are rehab in shelters. That's another challenge. Once they leave the rehab or they leave the shelters, we also lose connection with them. Their phones constantly change. Being able to contact them for them to come in, phones disconnected, not a service. So that's another challenge for me. Another thing is the Descovy. We have Truvada on site, but we don't have Descovy. I think it would be nice to have Descovy in the clinic due to sometimes we have denial of medication, loss of insurance, so these patients can continue taking their medication. It would be nice to have Descovy at hand also to provide to them while they're waiting for all of this to be approved. And my most challenge is the initial, when they getting them in for that first visit and their 3 months. After that, if they come in for their 6 months, they're pretty much on board. It's usually initial or the 3 months trying to get them on board. Following slide. So when they come in, when I call them or they walk in, usually here in the St. Pete office, if they're waiting, sometimes they'll walk in, they want some information. I receive the referral or they walk in. If they're interested, I schedule them their appointment. We discuss what PrEP is about. I try to, get them to commit. I explain the PrEP. I schedule those appointments. I meet with the client. We fill out all documentations. I call them like a week later to see how it went. On their follow-ups, I also call them to see how their visit went, how is the medication going, and then continue scheduling follow-ups. Try to keep, a contact with the patient, making sure that I am here for them, that they can call me with whatever information or whatever they need to get them continue coming in for prep. Last slide. And that's my information. If you guys need anything, any questions or anything, I'm here.
Thank you very much, Ms. Felix. Does anyone have questions for Ms. Felix?
I do. Hi, Damaris. This was a great presentation. Very, very informative. I love the work that you're doing, especially the referral process seems great and very, very airtight. You mentioned that there have been challenges with reaching or getting providers on board. Without, I guess, naming names of organizations or specific like medical providers, is there a specific type of provider that you're having trouble with? And if so, how would you describe, I guess, that type of provider that you're having trouble getting on board?
All right, so right now, you guys know I do all Pinellas County, which would be Clearwater, Mid-County, St. Pete, Pinellas Park. And right now we have 2 providers on board, and we have 1 provider doing it all in Mid-County and Pinellas Park, and the other provider doing it here. We have no more providers. We've tried to train some providers and it hasn't worked out. And I believe if all providers are on board, I mean, we can get these people in. Once I start rescheduling patients, you start losing interest. It's like, do you know what you're doing? So that's one of my challenges. Or, switching clinics. We have people who are coming from Tarpon Spring. We have people who are in public transportation.
I have a question. And when you say providers, are you talking about only Department of Health providers or providers who can do prep?
Well, I'm talking about the Department of Health providers.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you guys do referrals since if it is a barrier with finding more providers? Because I know there's other agencies that provide prep services like Metro, USF, and a couple other spots. Do you have that list that you either refer out to, or are you trying to keep it in the house?
If I had a case where he was uncomfortable with Department of Health, and I gave him the information on Metro to see if that works for him.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do we have any other questions for Ms. Felix? I was just checking the chat. I don't see any just now. Okay, again, thank you very much for your presentation and the information that you provided. It was very informative, very impactful, and we are grateful for what you are doing here in the community to increase uptake of PrEP and provide education about it. If you don't mind, Mr. Maris, could you please also put your contact information in the chat, so as we are continuing to move through the meeting, if anyone did not catch it from the slide, they can still get your contact information, please.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, next I'm going to return the floor to Mr. Darius Lightsey, who will be providing the introductions for our PinellasEHE.org webmaster.
Well,
Mr.
thank you,
Lightsey?
Nicole. You're doing such a great job this morning.
Thank you.
Yes, amen.
Guys.
So I said earlier that from our very first meeting, which I believe was actually December the 4th or the 5th of 2019, and we were actually at Metro Inclusive Health, and we were having a conversation around how we could improve communication, get past some of the barriers of bureaucracy sometimes, and make information more accessible to the community. And the idea came about of a community based website. This is something that we have been striving towards for quite some time now. I have to acknowledge my HIV/AIDS grants manager and ADAP supervisor, Ms. Yashika Everhart. She has worked with me tirelessly to make this happen. We've had some good days and we've had some bad days, but I am happy to announce we've had more good
Yes.
days than bad. Yes, that
Yes,
part. And we got the approval finally. And what you all will see today is a preview of the website. It will not be going live today. It will be going live at a future date. We are working with Ms. Shauna McIntosh of McIntosh Marketing. She is a local business owner. She's worked with the city of St. Petersburg, other government entities, private businesses. She's amazing. She's wonderful. She has a great eye for detail. And so what you all will see today is just kind of like if you're watching a movie, this is kind of like a trailer of sorts. So Ms. Shauna, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. And thank you, Pinellas EHE and the leadership team, community partners and members for having me. So I'm going to share my screen. So as mentioned, this is a project that the Pinellas EHE team has been working on for quite some time. Putting a website together is not so easy. It takes a lot of hands. It takes a lot of paying attention to detail, checking information, researching, finding proper images. It's a lot of work. Sometimes photo shoots are involved, all kinds of things. So I just appreciate the efforts that have gone into the team for getting the information to me and my team in a timely manner so that we can put something together for you all to look at today. I do want to add that the website is not live to the public because we are still adding more content. And part of that we'll go over today because that has to do with you. So without further ado, what you're looking at is the homepage that would show up when a person would type in pinellas.ehe.org. Few things that could change on this page. If there's an event or an announcement or anything of that nature going on, we can always put the announcements at the top. That goes for not just the Pinellas EHE announcements, but also those of the community. You would just need to share that with the team so that we know what to add to the site and where to link it to. Also, some other things that may change is this background video. There may be promotions, events, initiatives that are going on where we are supplied a web safe and friendly video. We have the ability to change this video and put it there. And then another feature that will change often is the This Week's Newsletter button. We plan to always have the latest newsletter accessible to you right there on the homepage of the website that you can click and download, forward, do whatever you need to do right from the homepage of the Pinellas EHE site. Scrolling down, we do bring highlight to what's known as the 4 pillars: to diagnose, treat, protect, and respond. We are building some informative pages behind the scenes that will connect to these blocks and give more detail on how you can do just that. So the very first page is a very simple one, and I'm going to go across just the top navigation. There's probably about 40 pages to this website. So once it does go live, please feel free to scroll through it on your own time. Another one of the factors that was considered in putting the website together is we wanted to make sure that the website had images that reflected the demographics that we are actually focusing on here in the Pinellas County area. We want to make sure that the viewers that look at our website feel comfortable in knowing that they can get the help that they need, that this is an inclusive project, and that they're part of it as well. This About Us page the entire website in general was meant to be very user-friendly. So you'll see large, clear images, buttons that you can easily click and go to downloadable forms, other pages, third-party links. And they also wanted this website to be resourceful. And that would be where the partners in the community come in. On the partners page, it is our goal to have block here for each one of our partners, a short blurb about what they bring to the Pinellas EHE team. And then we would like to have this where it clicks and goes right to your company websites. If for some reason you don't have a website, but you have some type of downloadable PDF form, a link that you want to provide, a video that you want to provide, all of that can be connected to the buttons that are associated with your business or organization. This page also has the ability to hold videos. We can separate them by year, by topic, but it's just a matter of getting the videos to us. We want this to constantly be updating, changing for our community. On the Meet the Team tab, you get to have an up-close look at the EHE leadership team. On this page, you'll find not only a profile picture for them, but also a button that leads to a little bit more information about them. So for instance, we were to click on Ms. Nicole's bio page, it breaks down a little bit more about what she does with Pinellas EHE, what she has done. And if you wanted to reach out to Nicole directly, you could just fill out this form here and it goes directly to her. Going back to the top, the resources tab. This is one of the most important pages of the entire website because we want it to be exactly that. It's intended to be a central location for all resources that are available through and with Pinellas EHE. Ultimately, the viewer can click on images, buttons, and this will direct them to either a third-party website, your company website, a form they need to fill out, a PDF, but this is where you would come in. We want to fill this page with tons of resources from our community. The more, the better. In the initial start of this, it was brought to my attention that there's so many different resources available on the Department of Health website. However, sometimes it can be a little busy and you get lost in the information. So the Pinellas EHE team wanted to have its own identity where those that are living and residing in the Pinellas County area have their own resources that were applicable to our area. So for instance, if somebody was looking for doctors that can help them with either HIV or AIDS diagnosis, there's lists of local doctors and their contact information on the website. Again, this can constantly be added to. If, for instance, they needed to know where to get tested, there's a link for HIV testing sites that directs them to a third-party site that allows them to simply put in their zip code and find the nearest testing location. There's a page that's dedicated to housing opportunities for our community. That gives our viewers information on each of the different entities and community partners and how they can help, along with their contact information. So ultimately, the website, we wanted it to be user-friendly. We wanted it to be resourceful, full of information from you, our community partners and members. We also wanted it to be responsive, and this is where my marketing belt comes in. One of the problems with some of the state sites is the fact that it does not respond on all devices. Meaning when you look at it on your cell phone, when you look at it on your tablet, it's very hard to read the fine print. You can't see images, you can't hit certain links. It's hard to navigate through. As I make the screen smaller, you'll see that the website responds with the size that I'm making the screen. And so what that's showing you is that no matter what size device an individual looks at this website on, they will still be able to clearly see all of the tabs, All of the useful links, images, pictures, and videos will populate as clear as day, no matter what device they're looking at. Another thing that's been put into the back end of this website, another component, is SEO. SEO, for those that are familiar with websites, is search engine optimization. It basically gives you the ability to show up in Google. The reason that's important to us is because when people pull up Google and they're searching for services that apply to Pinellas EHE and the resources that are connected to it, this website will populate. So keywords such as HIV help, HIV counseling, PrEP locations, testing locations, any of those things are all built into the website so that when people that are in the Pinellas County area type in those requests, it directs them to our website. And not to take away from the Department of Health website, we still connect to them. There are still links on our website that can take them directly to the Department of Health, which is exactly what we want to do with some of the partner websites as well. When you have so much information, it may just be easier to connect them right to you. So as we continue to build this website and continue to add information to the website, just know the website will never really be done. It's our goal to constantly be updating this website, adding new information, valuable resources, and help for our community. Once it's complete, there will be a few bonus features added. One of them that I'm very proud of is to appeal to our Hispanic community. The viewers will have the ability with one click to transform the entire website into Spanish language, so that they too can view it and benefit from the information on the website. As we move forward, I encourage the partners and the community members to please send directly to myself, and I'll put in the chat, any information on programs, initiatives, funding opportunities, educational opportunities, housing opportunities, anything that falls under this belt, please send it along. No information is too great. This website can hold a lot. And we can add it to the website, send you back a link to let you know where it can be found. And moving forward, we can continue to further the objective of Pinellas EHE with your help. Are there any questions? Wow, I must have did a good job.
I don't
You
have a
did an
question. I
awesome
just
job.
want to, I'm sorry. I just want to say this is awesome. It looks great. You have done a great job with it. So congratulations on that. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey, Shauna, I think also maybe under the resources or partners section, we can add our Care Council Chair, Mr. Nolan Finn, is on, and the Chair of the Pinellas Planning Partnership, Mr. Nate Taylor. I think too we can add something under those sections maybe regarding those bodies as well.
Absolutely. I just put in the chat my new name. It's Shauna Hills now. And my direct email address to please send those any types of bios, headshots for those members, as well as any other links, information documents, PDFs, anything that you want added to that website. Please send it along.
Thank you so much, Shauna. Everybody seems to be really excited, including myself, about this project. We know that it's very resourceful, and it is what the project is. It's a culmination of the community working together to end the HIV epidemic. So we're really excited about the work that you're doing and this part of the EHE program. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen for the PowerPoint. And we will continue with, our EHE partner highlights. So earlier this week, we had provided an email letting all of our EHE partners know that they would be able to have an opportunity to provide a brief update, about 2 to 3 minutes. So please take the time, if you would like to share some of the work that your organization has been doing in EHE. And if you do have any upcoming events, please share it at this time with the meeting body.
Nicole, maybe we should just call on people by organization. That might be better.
Sure, we can do that. I was about to ask, don't jump at once, but we can do that. If we have any members that might be here from Abundant Life, would anyone like to present any work or any upcoming events that they like to share?
I don't believe Superintendent Stroman was able to make it, so we can move forward.
Okay. What about Banyan Tree? I do know Jay Carl was on the call and having some tech issues. Also, if you'd like to write it in the chat, we can actually read your updates for you if you're having some issues. So, Mr. Jay Carl, did you have any updates that you'd like to share with the meeting?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm sorry, I'm having technical issues here. I will be able to do a little something. Banyan Tree hosted a Many Men, Many Voices session on the 31st. We had 32 people to show up, for which we had prepared for like 25. It was an awesome experience with a lot of people just from the community, gay, straight, bi, black, white. It was an awesome experience, and we are very pleased to have been a part of that. And I just want to say thank you for allowing us to be a part of the EHE. It has been an extraordinary experience for us to do this work. Thank you for allowing us to participate.
Thank you. Thank you for that update. And we always love to hear, more people coming than anticipated. So that's really exciting that we're reaching more people. Thank you for that update, Mr. J. Carl. Is there a representative from CDAT that would like to address the council?
Good night, everyone. This is Reno from CDAT, organizing director,
Greetings.
and we, peace and light. We were able to secure a location for ourselves and the Bird Cares and Metro. We were trying to get into. They were previously trying to get into Citrus Grove Apartments. Unfortunately, due to certain circumstances, the manager had to reschedule our event for late July. So we're looking to do an event later on this month, get a couple of weeks of campaigning and let people know about the event itself. Looking to get back into Citrus Grove this month. COVID kind of hit inside the office, so we had to shut down, and we were unable to fulfill it in July. But like I say, we look forward to letting you all know in a letterhead very soon when we will be in Metro, Bird Cares, and CDAT itself, and Citrus Grove Apartments. And that's about it. Thank you all as well for allowing our team to be a part of this whole program, this whole project. Amazing.
Thank you so much for the work that you all do in the community. We look forward to that upcoming project. Thank you. Do we have any representatives from EPIC that would like to present to the council?
Hi, Nicole, I'm here. So Joy had to step away, but I'm Stephanie. I'm the HOPWA coordinator here at EPIC. And yeah, so we had our housing summit last week. I feel like it went really well. We had a good mix of providers and community members and clients, and we got some great discussions in. We got some great information, and we came up with some action plans to move forward. So we'll see where it all goes. And that's it. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carr. I definitely attended that summit and it was very impactful. I definitely appreciate the information that was provided there. Thank you so much for providing that update. Next, we have Help Us Help You. Would you like to present to the council?
Sure. This is Lisa with Help Us Help You.
Hi,
And
Lisa.
hello. I want to send a big thank you out to everyone. When you're a small organization, you know, everyone helps you so much. So I want to thank, of course, the Department of Health and the EHE leadership team for this opportunity to work together and their expertise and efforts to help make our project successful. And another huge thank you to the other community partners that we were able to collaborate with on community events and hopefully for more upcoming projects and collaborations on events. Our grant was to increase community resource partners in the target zip codes that are most affected by HIV. And for the community partners to provide no-cost condoms, resources, including information on testing and PrEP, and for them to offer HIV testing. And I want to give a shout out to Ms. Felix because she provided us a bunch of PrEP information that went out to our resource partners. So thank you for that. We had 8 community resource partners come aboard and serving in 20 different locations. And of those 8 partners, 7 have agreed to provide or have already been approved to provide HIV testing. So we're really excited about that percentage. And we also hosted a community event, which was a little tricky because it was, you know, as everyone knows, during COVID. And we appreciate all the other EHE partners that participated to help make it successful. Banyan Tree, Epic, and Metro. Along with our new community resource partners. So we were excited about that too. And lastly, thank you to Darius. We also are doing a website and we are using Shana with Macintosh Marketing. And I'm so excited because yours looks absolutely amazing. And we've seen a mock-up of ours, which looks really, really good too. And that's an ongoing process. We hope to go live and like it was presented, it keeps going on because we do have a lot of different community resources on there too. And we're hoping to go live this month, but continue to update it in the future too, on a monthly basis. And I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It sounds really exciting, the number of community partners that you have, as well as the upcoming website. So we look forward to more work that Help Us Help You is going to be doing. Next, we would like to open the floor to anyone from IMA or the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance that would like to present to the council.
Hey, Nicole, I don't think Reverend Pritchett
here.
was able
Okay.
to be on, but I know that they are doing some things in the community. I know they just had a very successful conference this past weekend on intimacy. And I know that they have recently acquired some new offices, and so we will be hearing more from them at a future date.
Thank you. Any representatives that would like to address the council from Metro Inclusive Health?
Good morning again. This is Chris Gudis. Hi. First and foremost, on behalf of Metro, we are grateful and honored to be an EHE partner. What we really enjoy about the empowering opportunity behind the project is the innovation and the promotion of collaboration of community organizations. So some of the really cool activities that Metro is able to accomplish through this project is providing trainings to community providers, gatekeepers and stakeholders. A lot of the times, prevention interventions really focus on the end consumer and clients, but this really enables us to provide trainings to professionals, building that EHE network of ambassadors. So recently we were able to provide trainings to 2 organizations locally. One of them was Daystar Life Center, located in zip code 33712. And the other is Goodwill's St. Petersburg Suncoast Reentry Center, located in 33702. Now, Daystar, they're a nonprofit organization. They're located right in the heart of Jordan Park, Wildwood Heights neighborhoods. A large number of families and individuals they serve come from the immediate neighborhood, as well as throughout southern Pinellas County. And Daystar provides services to support community and individuals in hopes of in hopes of ending hunger, homelessness, and connecting people to services. Now, Goodwill's Suncoast Reentry Center is a community-based organization. It's a corrections program, and their aim is to help people reintegrate into society, providing support around employment, housing, and corrections programs. The majority of the clients that the St. Pete Reentry Center serves come from the communities throughout southern Pinellas County. So the goal with these provider trainings is really to, again, develop these community ambassadors, provide those professionals with the knowledge around all that is HIV 101, testing, treatment, prevention, including PrEP and NPEP, resources, understanding HIV in our community with EPI data provided by the health department, understanding the persons and communities at greatest risk, and how they can be a part of ending the epidemic. So the other cool activity we're able to do is really collaborate with some all-star organizations like the Bird Cares, recruiting peer youth directly from the neighborhoods to really get out there and provide health promotion and talk about HIV testing. So coming up later this month, many of you probably know about the Deuces block parties that happen every third Thursday. So keep an eye out for August 19th. We'll be out there in collaboration with the Bird Cares' Peer Youth Street Team, providing services and resources. Don't want to take up too much more time, but I do want to also let everyone know, in light of the pandemic, Metro still continues to offer COVID vaccinations to the community. Out of all of our locations, we have days every single day of the week dedicated to providing walk-in vaccination. And if you haven't heard, our Tampa office has moved. So if you're ever in the Tampa neighborhood, you're going to find us on Nebraska Avenue instead of 7th Avenue in Ybor, but we just moved right down the street. Really beautiful building. It used to be the historic German American Club, and we're really excited to be there. So see you there soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those updates. Metro has so much going on, and congratulations on your move. We're excited to continue to see and hear and participate in the work that you all are doing.
Nicole, Nicole, this is J. Carl Devine. May I say something?
Sure.
I really need to give a shout out to Mr. Chris Walker for the last minute bags that he put together for us to help make our event a success. I just must give him a thank you for that last minute effort to help us make this a reality. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your thanks. We're grateful for it, and thank you for your efforts, Mr. Walker. That's my partner, y'all. Okay. Anyways, we like to move on to the weekly challenger, if you would like to share with the council.
Yeah, we've had a lot of exciting partners that we've worked with through radio and doing videos and of course articles. And we've been able to so far complete all of our goals, and we hope to continue to do more articles and videos and radio shows moving forward after this campaign. And so I think by the end of this next, the end of July, we will have done 12 articles, about I don't know, 6 or 7 videos. We actually did more videos than we planned on doing. We did 3 radio shows with our partner at 99 Gems, Donald Jackson and WGM JM. That was great. And we've gotten great results and feedback from the videos that we've done with our many partners, from Dr. Kamisha Gabadon and Prashard Williams to Dr. Katura Jenkins Hall and Reverend J.C. Pritchett. We just they did the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance did this great pastors walk a few weeks ago, and the pastors went and got HIV tests. So we have a video of that coming out. J. Carl Devine and Leisha McKinley Beach did a great radio show recently. And so we've got some articles coming out about that. And we have some more videos coming up. We got to talk with Dr. Kanika Tomlin about some issues. And so I think we have and we also partnered with Jessica Esteves and Gallo Cruz from Epic. And they did some videos about the HIV prevention in the Latinx community. So I think it's been a great experience for us all around, and we hope to continue this work. We have a ad campaign coming up that will be running through the end of the year with a lot of our partners and their testimonies about their work in the EHE campaign. So thank you all. We really appreciate your support.
Thank you so much. So many great pieces of work, so many campaigns where we love to see it, and we're excited to see what you continue to produce. Next, we would like to open the floor for any representatives from the University of South Florida Pediatric Infectious Disease.
Hello and good afternoon to everyone. I did not want to be long because I know some people like me are hungry and lunchtime is near. So just some quick updates. We are going full force now that we have gotten across some barriers that we had initially with our start. We just hired a new person to our team, Jessica, who is also on this call now. And we are pretty much going full force for our project Shop Talk, which will do barbershops, hair salons, and beauty supply stores as a way of educating and providing testing as it relates to HIV, STIs, and other health issues amongst young people and people within the Pinellas County, South St. Pete area. We have some upcoming things coming up. We'll probably have our first initiative event later on this month. And then we are at the final stages of rolling out our announcement for our focus group that will be looking for youth between the ages of 13 and about 24 to 25. If they happen to be a little bit older, that's perfectly fine. Who would be interested in sharing their experience in a barbershop, a Black historic or Black person of color barbershop, hair store, or salon, and it'll be a virtual call. So we'll send out that information shortly. And that's pretty much it for right now. I don't want to keep y'all longer on here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Washington. We appreciate the updates, and we look forward to all the great work that USF Pediatric Infectious Disease will be continuing in the EHE efforts. So moving on to our
Cole,
next segment.
Before we move on, I would like to acknowledge Ms. Kim Molnar and the work that the AIDS Institute has been doing. I know they've been working with Part A, Roundwire Part A, in terms of ending the HIV epidemic, and we've had calls with them, and they are very interested in what we're doing as well, and all these plans across the area have to integrate in some ways. And so I did want to acknowledge Kim. I know she's here indeed.
Thank you, Darius. It's a pleasure to work with you guys. You guys are doing great work.
All right, thank you, Kim. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I was working some things on the back end. Thank you as well, Ms. Kim, for being part of the meeting today and for all the amazing work that your organization is doing. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again. Oh, 1 second. Technical difficulties. Okay, we're back. Can everyone see where we are now on the
Yes.
year one recap?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Can you see yourselves? Because I can see the year one recap as well as our meeting. Can you see that as well?
Yes.
Technical difficulties. 1 second, please. Chris, do you mind sharing the screen?
Certainly. I was just going to actually unmute and ask if you needed me to do that. So 1 second.
Thank you. I
please.
appreciate
And while you
that.
guys are doing that, not to jack your meeting, but I also would like to recognize Dr. Hernandez from John Hopkins All Children's Hospital. I see she is in the comment section. And I see that John Hopkins is still working towards the geocoding of adolescents for HIV/AIDS cases. And so welcome, Dr. Hernandez. We look forward to chatting with you soon.
Let me share it one more time, making sure I'm sharing the right part. Okay.
Okay, looks great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Teleworking sometimes, you all know. Okay, so thank you all again for your patience and your dedication to this work. We will be doing a brief recap of year one activities by pillar within EHE. Next slide, please. So as you can see on this slide, just a reminder of how we actually came to the point of having EHE within Pinellas County. The gray line to the right, to the left of your screen on this chart represents the HIV diagnosis by year, beginning in 2020, and the last calendar year that we have accurate HIV data is for 2019. The reason why HIV data is slightly delayed is because we want to make sure at the state level that there are no duplication in cases, and that everyone who has been identified as a new positive HIV case is in their correct jurisdiction. So our current working data is from 2019. So as you can see, from 2016 through 2019, in the state of Florida, there's been a gradual decrease. However, in our Pinellas County line, which is the blue dotted line, we can actually see a steady increase. So our jurisdiction was actually during the reverse of the state, which prompted attention from the CDC. Next slide, please. So we can also compare our previous or our active year information, which is 2019, to the previous year's information, which is 2018. And we look at some populations that might be most at risk for HIV diagnosis. So within that information, we are able to determine that individuals aged 20 to 29 had the highest amounts of cases of new HIV diagnosis. This was the same in 2018. We were also able to determine that there was a slight decrease in the gender identification of individuals that provided information, that made up the new cases of HIV during 2019. That number was 86% of males. I do want to preface this is that from the state data, not local data, because we are collecting more information locally, but from the state, there are only two genders that are able to be identified, so male or female. So of that, 86% identified as male. We also were able to understand that the same the highest risk factor was male-to-male sexual contact, and this was associated with the new cases of HIV diagnosis. Additionally, Black people made up 36% of new HIV cases in 2019. This was a 6% decrease since 2018. However, in comparison to their white counterparts, Black people are 5.9 times more likely to receive an HIV diagnosis. However, we also saw an increase of Black individuals that identified male-to-male sexual contact of an increase of 18% in 2019. Additionally, another population of concern when discussing new HIV diagnosis is a Latinx population, which had an increase of 5% since 2018. Next slide, please. So we are able to identify some key zip codes, as almost 50% of the cases that were identified within Pinellas County came from 5 zip codes. And they are 33710, 33715, 33711, and 33712, and 33713. Next slide, please. So we received EHE, and this is what we're all here working on today. And by the year 2030, EHE hopes to reduce the HIV epidemic and end it, in fact, by 4 main pillars. And they are to diagnose, to treat, to prevent, and to respond. Next slide, please. So within the pillars, there were certain strategies, and Mr. Lightsey went over those earlier. However, you can see them laid out here by diagnose, treat, prevent, and respond. Some of them do appear more than once, as they are multi-tiered, and they do have different aspects of how we are going to address ending the HIV epidemic. So under the diagnose pillar, we wanted to make sure that we addressed HIV/AIDS stigma among the faith-based community. That's also a prevention method that you can see there. We also wanted to increase the accessibility of night clinics and Department of Health locations and after hours for accessibility. We also wanted to increase treatment by addressing political, economic, and social determinants of health. One of those social determinants of health is housing, and providing a housing process and funding opportunities for people living with HIV, as well as providing community provider training, as you heard many of our EHE partners have been doing and looking to do more of. As far as the prevention pillar, we wanted to also make sure that we addressed media and marketing to promote HIV testing, as well as pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP. We also wanted to make sure that we had outreaches and education for youth and training services for youth, which some of our partners are doing, which include Metro as well as USF. We also wanted to, again, make sure we address that faith-based community about HIV stigma reduction, as well as sponsor community outreach events for awareness and prevention of HIV. We also wanted to make sure that we responded by developing community ambassador programs, which some of our partners are doing as well. Next slide, please. Go ahead.
Oh, is that me? Okay. Hi, everyone. So what we'll be doing from here is we'll be discussing the specific strategies that Nicole just covered and talking them and framing them around the work that we've done locally with Pinellas EHE. And I guess I'll start by saying one of my favorite parts of being within Pinellas EHE is to celebrate the successes of the organizations that we work with. And hopefully that becomes very apparent through the next few slides. So starting with HIV/AIDS stigma among faith-based communities, there have been several initiatives that have taken place to support this strategy. Community-based conversations with interdenominational faith leaders, encouraging testing through modeling done by faith leaders. And I'd like to highlight an event that happened on June 4th of this year, done by the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, in which Reverend Pritchett led a group of faith leaders to EPIC to get tested for HIV. Now, I know, growing up, and I'm sure in the church you've heard the saying, do as I say, not as I do. Well, not Reverend Pritchett. He certainly models by example, and it's very, very obvious through the event that took place, and also the effects of that as well. I'm sure within time we'll see the impact of events and initiatives such as this one. We'd also like to highlight a series hosted by the Weekly Challenger, in which Dr. Katura Jenkins Hall and Reverend Pritchett discussed HIV stigma. And that series began in April 2nd, 2021. And those videos, from what I believe, can be found on the Weekly Challenger's website. All right, so moving on to HIV/AIDS stigma among faith-based communities. Some of the successes that we've experienced or some that we've observed are that 33% of our community EHE partners are faith-based. That is a very, very large percentage, and we understand the importance of making sure that those individuals or those organizations are represented at the table here. We've had over 10 faith-based events and campaigns that have launched since February 2021. And we've also had a lot of additional events such as block parties and other community events to raise awareness. Now, we do have some opportunities for growth, and some of these are quite literally in terms of like growing and expanding. So, and some are a little bit more specific, such as faith-based organizations and the barriers that are still experienced, or the barriers that are still there, of promoting HIV prevention and safe sex practices within faith-based communities and congregations. And another area of improvement, or area of growth, would be more multicultural and bilingual faith-based institutions, so that we can reach even more individuals within Pinellas County. And this is a picture of Mr. J. Carl Devine and I don't know why I'm blanking on names right now. I see this man all
Pastor
the time.
Stroman.
Thank you, Pastor Stroman. Thank you, Nicole, at one of our community events raising awareness. And this specific event happened in March of this year. We've mentioned night clinics several times, and EHE partners such as Metro have definitely been very, very active in ensuring that this strategy is carried out, such as through the presence of their mobile units. I've been at several events, and Metro has indeed been there providing HIV testing and also raising awareness. Something that's sort of in the works that we'd like to mention is after-hours condom dispensing programs and a campaign specifically with the city of St. Petersburg. Some of you may be aware that both Nicole and myself gave a presentation to the city of St. Petersburg, and one of our big asks was a condom condom dispensing program that we can implement here in Pinellas County and in St. Petersburg. And that is certainly in the works, and the ball has been moving with that. And we've had some meetings to make sure that comes to pass. So look out for that very soon. And again, we'd also like to highlight mobile units, this time specifically with EPIC. They've brought their mobile units to various community events, which addresses the activity of night clinics hosted at non-Department of Health locations. An area of growth that we have seen is working on more physical locations for night clinics and possibly doing pop-up clinics, as we know that specific intervention is very effective. Moving on to pillar 2, which is to treat. We mentioned the Housing Summit several times throughout this meeting, and I will mention it once again because it was a huge success. We shared a lot of information. We engaged in a lot of great dialogue. A lot of diverse voices have come to the table. So I'd like to highlight that. Again, the condom dispensing program, strengthening our relationships and our partnerships with Florida Department of Health in linkage as well as ADAP programs to increase viral suppression. And let's see, EHE partners, several community events, again, resource fairs, et cetera, that we have not only attended, but have hosted. Right, so community provider training has happened in several different ways. Metro mentioned their provider training a little earlier. USF's peer mentor training, as well as our cultural intelligence training facilitated by Ms. Gwendolyn Reese. And that series was held from February of this year to July. And I will say I was kind of bummed when it came to an end because there was a lot of great conversation had, especially as it relates to privilege, as it relates to colorism, and as well as a lot of other different issues and identities that are representative of the people that we serve. So that was a very, very great intervention, and we look forward to doing something very similar to this in the future. All right, I think this might be my last slide. Hold on, just want to take a look. Okay, so some additional activities include political, economic, and social determinants of health, again, through things such as the housing fair and our partnership with the city of St. Petersburg. We'd like to increase additional local policies regarding that and become more engaged with what's going on locally with the city of St. Petersburg as we do strengthen those relationships. Housing process and funding availability for people with HIV, that's been mentioned several times throughout this meeting, especially through the Ryan White Part A update and community and provider training, which has been mentioned several times as well. Lots of opportunities for improvement and growth, increasing housing opportunities, increasing diversity for housing opportunities, and including diverse partners, and just general expansion of our reach.
So for the prevention pillar, one of our strategies was to maintain media and marketing campaigns to promote testing as well as PrEP, again, pre-exposure prophylaxis. We have had monthly community conversations around the topic of increased condom use as well as PrEP. As you heard, all of the great work in our PrEP Navigator report has been done towards ending the HIV epidemic. Also, just reminding you of that condom distribution program to provide not only access to free condoms outside of regular business hours, but also as part of a campaign, a media campaign to provide sex positive and HIV reduction messaging. Additionally, hosting over 20 HIV awareness and prevention interviews, articles, and media campaigns. Next slide, please. Another strategy that we had was to increase youth education and training opportunities. As you heard previously, we do have a couple of partners that are working on this, USF, Metro, as well as this initiative that you see off to the right-hand side, which is Abundant Life and Banyan Trees Partnership, as well as the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. And this was the Youth HIV AIDS Awareness Day on the Deuces that took place in April. Also upcoming, we have the USF project that is entitled Shop Talks, which will be including youth at local barbershops, beauty salons, and nail shops. Next slide, please. Lastly, for prevention, we also wanted to make sure that HIV/AIDS stigma was addressed among faith-based communities, as well as sponsoring lots and lots of community events related to this topic. So 33% of our EHE partners are actually faith-based. So again, having that voice within the community to reach out to their various congregations. Also, we hosted many outreaches. I believe this number has increased past 12. I believe that was in April, it was about 12, but since then we've had even more reaching out to the community, multiple community health resource fairs to address not just HIV/AIDS, but the social determinants of health that might increase one's likelihood of receiving an HIV diagnosis, as well as ongoing partner training, awareness, and prevention resources. Next slide, please. So some of the successes that we had, we increased the amount of listen and learn sessions in our jurisdiction, as well as increased messaging for PrEP within our key demographics. We also had partnered with HIV/AIDS messaging in other in faith-based communities to address stigma, as well as having lots and lots of community awareness activities. Points of growth, as you saw, we are going to be launching very soon the website with all of the resources within our jurisdiction. Another key point is always to make sure that we're engaging more youth. They are our future, so we want to make sure that they're growing up with knowledge as well as safely. We want to also make sure that we're always including more voices that are multicultural within the faith-based community, and we want to make sure that we are expanding the reach and uptake for PrEP. Next slide, please. For our last pillar, which is respond, one of our key strategies was to have community ambassador programs. And you can see off to the right-hand side, USF Ybor campus, Ybor Youth Clinic. They did note to us that they've recently moved, so congratulations again on your move. And we do look forward to the great work that you're going to be doing in our county related to the Youth Ambassador Program. Also, we want to make sure that we acknowledge other partners that have been doing work regarding community ambassador programs such as Metro. Next slide, please. Thank you. So 33% of our partners are actually working on some type of training or community ambassador program. We also have CDAT, which is going to be working on a social media influencer campaign and training opportunities for ambassadors within the community. So we look forward to hearing more about that. And points of growth, always to do more planning and implementing of these social media as well as youth ambassador programs. Next slide, please. So this is our year one wrap up. We want to make sure that we thank you all for the wonderful work that you guys have been doing. I hope this part of the presentation gave you a good pat on the back to make sure that you know that we're aware of all the great work that you guys have been doing and to make sure that we continue. So just keep going. You guys are doing great. Let's make sure that we continue to make this initiative, this community initiative, what it is, so that we can end the HIV epidemic within our jurisdiction. So thank you for that. Chris, I can go ahead and go back to sharing the screen now. Thank you. Can I? Hold on. Okay, without further ado, we would like to turn the floor over to Ms. Yashika Everhart, who will be providing our fiscal update for year 2.
Good afternoon again, everyone. Thank you so much for staying with us. We appreciate your willingness and your time and dedication to this council meeting today. Nicole, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you so much. So I know earlier we had a question from Reverend William Gravely in terms of how to become a partner. And so this is where we are. And I ask you to stay tuned for future, for later in the meeting. Here's our timeline for the procurement process for year 2. As it states, September through November, we'll be making an announcement to the community that will be released via our EHE newsletter, the website that you saw today, that wonderful preview from Ms. Shauna Hills, and several other media outlets will be using, such as the Weekly Challenger, and potentially some radio, just kind of outlets to get the word out and information regarding the announcement of funding opportunity for year 2. In the month of October, we will have a deadline and date set for the submission of those requests for quotes and work plans. Those will be submitted to myself. And from there, we will have a team of evaluators, as we did during year 1. Those work plans and quotes will be evaluated. We will then host our negotiation meetings just as we normally do with procurement in the month of November. So therefore, November to December, we'll work to get those purchase orders successfully completed and everything, so that you can begin year 2 implementation and in January. And so we'll be ready to start January 1. I can't talk today for whatever reason. So from January 1, our next funding cycle, it'll be January 1, 2022 to July 31st of 2022. At our next council meeting, which will be held in October, we will already have put out some information regarding the funding opportunity. And so there'll probably be some other updates that we can make you abreast of at the meeting in October. Does anyone have any questions about that? And FYI, thank you. I don't see any questions in the chat. No one has any questions, but again, that funding opportunity will address our initiatives as we reflect on year 1 and the pillars and what we need in terms of our work plan and how we truly can end the HIV epidemic in Pinellas County. All of that will be taken into consideration so we can continue to do this good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Everhart. Did anyone have any additional questions? Okay, so we'll move on to the next portion.
Are those the right papers?
Okay, so we'll address some brief housing.
Yeah, except it's missing. Wait a minute, no.
Valerie, did you have a question?
She just went on mute, Nicole.
Okay, all right, no worries. So we'll go ahead and continue just wrapping up the meeting momentarily. But just to have a couple of housekeeping points. So just to remind you, our EHE team, myself and Chris, the EHE strategic planners and consultants provide a bi-weekly newsletter. Please make sure that you are providing to us any content that you have, any successes that you would like to share, any important events that you guys are going to be hosting, or anything within the community that can help to bring some of our efforts to fruition. So please provide those to us, and please make sure that you're checking your email so that you can see all of the great work that we put into this newsletter, but also that we are doing within our community. We also want to remind you of our office hours that myself and Chris are available for. So every Tuesday from 2 until 4 p.m. we do hold office hours. So we hold a space for you without any meetings or anything else, to make sure that you can come to us with any technical assistance that you may need to discuss your projects. Please make sure that you use that opportunity, because we're here to assist you, and we're here for the community. Additionally, our next EHE Council meeting will be October 28th. So please mark your calendars, and coming soon, we'll also be having one of those save the dates, as well as additional information coming about that meeting.
Can I add something to that?
Sure.
I know we haven't sent out the invite, and I would just take note that that date is around Halloween.
Yes.
That's all we'll say for now, but I'm sure you'll probably understand what we're getting at, but I just thought I'd point that out.
So that will be a very special meeting. So please be aware of the save the date that we'll be sending out. And it is around Halloween. That's my spooky voice. Okay, so moving on. If it's gonna move. Okay, we'll have our closing remarks by Miss Charlene Edwards.
Hello, everyone. I just want to thank everyone for joining us today and participating in the EHE Council every quarter. Thank you to our partners who really just give us such great feedback, energy, and innovative ideas. One of the things that we set out when Darius and I, when we first received word of receiving this EHE money, is that we wanted to turn this over to the community. And I was just messaging my team saying I really like that the work that's being done, you know, and it's not our work, it's your work, you know, it's the community's work. I love the partners that we've been able to join together, non-traditional partners that we've been able to include in the mix. And I'm so looking forward to year 2. We had a housing summit last week that Epic led. And there was some great just feedback, great action items. And I'm just really, really excited for year 2 as we continue to just build upon what we're currently working on. So I just, you know, ask everyone to just keep up the good work, you know, refer a partner that you think should be in the mix. It could be a business owner. It could be someone who has absolutely nothing to do with HIV, but maybe they just function within our high-risk communities. So just keep up the good work, invite a friend, tell a friend, and I'm excited about just what's to come. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Edwards. And we also cannot end the meeting without thanking our streaming partners as well. We thank the Bird Cares for streaming this meeting live on social media. We also thank the Pinellas Planning Partnership for streaming as well. We also like to thank anyone who was viewing this on Facebook or other social media platform that was not directly in the Zoom with us. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank all of the participants, as well as our partners and the community, because we cannot do this work without you. This is our jurisdiction, and we're going to be continuing to do the work to manifest ending the HIV epidemic within Pinellas County. So if you do have any additional requirements that you would like to contact us with, please make sure you email us at pinellasEHE@floridahealth.gov. please make sure that you reach out to us. We're very available, and we are here to assist you with any of your ending the HIV epidemic needs.
Nicole, if I could also add something, if you're not on our email list or if you're not receiving our emails and you'd really like to get all this great information about upcoming events, the procurement process, etc., please email us so that we can make sure that we have you on that list so you can receive further updates.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that. And last, we just want to say thank you again for your participation in this meeting, as well as your participation in this community-based initiative, which is ending the HIV epidemic in Pinellas County. Thank you all for attending today, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.